All right, my friends, today we are going to talk about ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is a plant medicine that they use here in Peru, in Colombia, in Brazil. And ayahuasca is a Quechua name. Aya means dead or soul or spirit in Quechua, which is the native language here in the Sierra of Peru. And then Waska is vine or rope. In this case, it's vine. And I'm going to say it's vine of the dead, and I'll explain to you why. Because ayahuasca brings you the closest to death you'll ever be in your life. How does it do that? It makes you stop breathing. It gives you a capacity not to breathe. And so essentially what happens is it makes everything vibrate, including your breath. And so you're hearing everything vibrate outside of you, and your breath is also like a bagpipe, like from within you, it's making a bunch of noise. And so you decide, I'm going to stop breathing to listen to everything else around me, and all of a sudden you're not breathing, you don't even realize it, you forget that you have the ability to breathe. And through this you start having visions or hallucinations, if you want to call it that. But this is a fear-based thing, right? So love is that everything is one. And so mushrooms showed me this, that when you're having a bad trip, you just have to breathe deep and the bad trip goes away, because love is that everything is one. And so when you're exhaling what's inside of you and inhaling what's outside of you, you're becoming one with it. It's a cycle. It's making you become one with everything. It's making everything love. And so when you're not breathing and you don't realize it in these sacred plant and mushroom experiences, this generates hallucination, visions, illusion, fear, which is based on separation, which is I am separate from the surroundings. And so you hold this breath inside of you, you don't realize you're not breathing, and then you start having these visions. And so ayahuasca makes it so that you have the capacity not to breathe for a very long time, and you don't even realize it. In my strongest ayahuasca experience, I began to cough after about 45 minutes after I drank the ayahuasca. And I went outside of the room that I was in, where there was 20 people there in the room, 10 drinking ayahuasca, 10 people just sleeping in the room because they're family. And so I go outside and I'm coughing, and then I stop coughing after a while. And I'm not breathing, but I don't realize it. And I realize that there's something that I need. And I start putting my hand in the dirt and putting it up to my mouth, like not eating it. But I knew there was something that I had to do that I wasn't doing. And I did not know that it was breathing. And so after a while, I felt really good. And in this experience, as I'm leaving the house, everything is electric. So every step I'm taking, I see like lightning bolts shooting out from my feet. Every time I spit and my spit hits the ground, it's like electric. Everything is electromagnetic. So it's really interesting to feel that and see that. And so after a while, I want to go back inside the house. I was feeling good and everything, even though I wasn't breathing. But then I started wanting to go back inside the house. And I start, everything is dark, and it puts like saran wrap on top of the darkness. And there's trees in the yard where I'm in. I could run in these things and hurt myself. So I start saying like, hey guys, can you help me out? Can't see anything. I'd just like to go back inside the house. No one comes. I say it over and over again. Over and over and over and over again. And through this whole experience, I don't think I was breathing. And people can say that I had like some kind of time distortion in my mind, but I've talked to other people and they said that no, they've like watched themselves in the ayahuasca experience, and that they've gone 15 minutes, they've gone a long time without breathing. And so I'm here asking for help, and I start becoming like delusional, and all of a sudden I'm having like this vision where I'm like dying in the street asking people for help. And through this, it was ayahuasca saying, don't ask for anything, don't ever ask for anything again. At that time I was meditating in the streets to pay my trip, and I would also go to the market and ask people for free food. Because some traveler friends I had said, you can just go to the market and just ask them for vegetables and fruits, say you're vegetarian, and they'll just give you free vegetables and fruits. And so I was like, all right. And so I was doing that. And so the ayahuasca basically was showing me, like, don't ask for these things. Meditate. Whatever people give you, they give you, like, from their heart. But don't force anyone. Forcing is not a good vibe. Like, you need to let everything flow. And so through this, I'm there, I'm dead. I died in the street in this vision. And then after all of this, these the Shipibo natives come out and they're like, oh bro, like the gringo's dead, what are we gonna do? And they picked me up and I was like still alive, obviously, but I was not breathing, and they didn't even realize it. And so they start like taking off my shirt and like throwing buckets of water on me and like pressure massaging my head and my chest and everywhere, right? And then the guy who invited me, I was always telling him to like breathe and meditate in the ceremony we had the night before. And so he's like remembering this and he's like, bro, breathe. And all of a sudden I breathe and it's like I'm rebirthed. I wasn't breathing. Maybe I was breathing a bit. I have no idea, guys, but I'm 100% sure that when this guy told me to breathe, that I felt completely dead, completely unconscious, completely incapable of coming out of this trip. And all of a sudden, I was rebirthed in 5 minutes. I like went to where I was sleeping, fell asleep, and slept like the best of my life. I felt so good after that, and I felt like I didn't need anything else after that. I also wanted to stop smoking because I was like coughing. And I just remember saying, I don't want to smoke anymore. I don't want to smoke anymore. Because like it felt like needles coming out of my lungs. Every time I was like coughing, it was like needles of like black oil, like shooting out of my lungs. And so, yeah, it was a crazy experience. And it showed me that all of these bad trips that we have with these plant medicines, they're actually all caused by deoxygenated brain states. Okay, so in mushrooms and ayahuasca, whatever plant medicine it is that you're taking, if you're having a bad trip, just breathe. That is all you got to do. And I told this to the Shipibo natives, that it makes you stop breathing, and they didn't believe me. And later on, I talked to a medical student in Pucallpa as well, who wasn't, I don't think he was Shipibo, and I told him that this is what it does, and he said he was going to look at himself and see if this actually happens, see if you stop breathing when you're in like the highest level elevated state. And he said, yeah. He said, bro, you're 100% right. And none of the Shipibo natives wanted to admit this. No one wanted to say that like I was able to perceive something from their plant medicine that they weren't able to perceive. And I had other experiences with Shipibo where I'm in a room full of Shipibo people and they're saying that I should be throwing up. And I say like, guys, I feel like I'm not throwing up because I'm eating healthy. I'm fasting all day before the ceremony. I'm meditating. I'm not watching TV. I'm doing all the things that you should do when you're taking plant medicines. And they said, no, it's because you're smoking cannabis and it's like blocking your visions and all this stuff. And in the end, after a few nights of drinking ayahuasca with these family and neighbors, I asked them, guys, how many times have you guys drank ayahuasca? And they were like, oh, like 200 times, 300, 500 times. I was like, cool. So yeah, here's a question from ayahuasca for you guys. What has it changed in your life over that many times drinking it? It's a medicine, right? So what have you healed? What has gotten better in your life? Please tell me. Silence. The guy who invited me said it made him fear more. Out of like 10 people who had drank ayahuasca more than probably like 1,000 times, like collectively together, no one could say one thing positive and really one thing that mattered about what it had changed in their lives. And so this is another lesson that we can learn through the native language Quechua as well, that the word for medicine in Quechua is ham pi, and ham in Quechua is you and pi is in. And so the Quechua, the language is telling you, like the ancestors left this message in their language, that the medicine is in you. The word for medicine is literally in you in their language. And so if it is in you to heal, you're going to heal. And if it's in you to take a drug, to not put any intention into the ceremony, then this is going to be a poison. This is going to hurt you. And so when you take these plant medicines, be super conscious. Put intention into it. Say, I want to heal. I want to better myself. Show me how to eat better. Show me how to live better. Show me what the bad energy is in my life so I can purge it, so I can throw it out of my life. And give me the wisdom of the ancestors. Allow me to connect with this reality on a deeper level. Allow me to flow through this universe